Okay, so a lot of friends have been asking me, what did I do to prepare? Because I'm one of the only people that is posting about the coronavirus on Facebook, I think, and they see that I take it seriously. So you've asked me, I'm going to tell you. Now, these are only my personal opinions. Please don't blame me if I've forgotten something and then you find yourself in dire need later. But I'm going to tell you what I've done for myself. So we'll be in this together. If I forgot something, we both forgot it. Okay? So, number one, the first thing you need is bleach, because bleach kills 99.9% of viruses, and you're going to need that to help clean. You could also use, instead of bleach, you could get Stearamine pills. I ordered some online. I'm hoping to pick them up at some point from the US or have someone pick them up for me. You might be able to get them in Canada. They're just little pills in a bottle, and so I think I got like 500 pills in a bottle, and so they will each sterilize a certain amount of water, and it's highly effective because you can just store it on your shelf like this, and it does like 500 liters of water. Like, it's just a lot easier to store and to measure, and maybe less dangerous than bleach in some ways. Okay, so you got that covered. Okay, and then make sure that once you have the bleach, make sure that you have something to spray it in. So if you buy a bottle of bleach, you're going to need to have a way to spray it on yourself to be sanitizing yourself at some point. So make sure you have a spray bottle. Okay, what else do you need? Next, let's go in personal protective equipment. Okay, right now it's not cool to wear personal protective equipment in Canada, but that will change eventually. When cases start popping up here, people will start wearing masks in public. So there's different kinds of masks. You have the surgical masks that are just like a piece of fabric pretty much, and they more protect other people from the person that's sick, okay, or from doctors. Doctors, it'll protect them from like spray, but it's not going to stop the virus from getting in. N95 masks will protect you from 95% of the threat. It won't fully protect you from the coronavirus, although they are much better than surgical masks. So if that's all you can get, pretty much any mask is good, okay? Any mask is going to help, in my opinion. So N95 is better. Surgical mask is a little worse, okay? But actually, the coronavirus is so small that an N95 mask will not fully protect you because it's so microscopic. So if you want to be fully protected on your face from breathing in the coronavirus, you're going to want the N100 or P100 mask. You can still get them at some little Canadian Tires around in Canada, okay? It's like a half face mask. You can also use it for paint projects and things like this in your own home, so it's not like you're buying it for nothing, okay? And I called 3M, and the type of filter that you want on a mask like this is the pink filter. They have different colors for different things. I called 3M, I talked about the coronavirus with their expert there, and they said it's the pink filter that you want, okay? So that will fully protect this part of your face. Now your eyes, any mucous membranes, eyes, ears, virus can still potentially get in there if you're going to be touching yourself or sprayed, okay? So if you have swim goggles, that will protect your eyes, okay? You don't have to go out and buy special goggles. You can just literally wear swim goggles. Yeah, you'll look funny, but who cares about looking funny when it's something serious, right? Okay, or take it a step up a notch. Amazon.ca and probably Amazon.com. You can buy a full face respirator right now, a full face mask. So it's the same idea. It's like a P100, so you got your pink filters on it, but it also covers your eyes. So it's going to be more comfortable and easier to wear, easier to put on. Now, the main thing with masks is that you don't just feel like, oh, now I've got the mask, so I'm perfectly safe. You have to understand that when you touch something contaminated, if you're going to you know, bring that up to your face and touch your mask, and then, you know, take off your gloves later and then touch your mask again, like then your hands are contaminated again. So you really have to be very aware of what you're touching and when you're touching it. I know this might be really overwhelming, especially if you are just new to all this stuff, but just take it as you can. Just write a little list: face mask, whatever kind you can get, eye protection, gloves, get lots of gloves. And then if you got like a rain jacket, that would be great, because if you need to take care of a family member inside your house, you want to protect yourself on your body. So you could have a disposable gown like they do in hospitals, or you could have the white Tyvek suit like they do in China, or you could have a raincoat, you know, whatever you can do to protect yourself. You could get a bouffant cap, which is like the shower caps to like put your hair up in. You can get booties for your feet so that your feet are protected. Really what you're dealing with is a highly contagious virus. So you have to take kind of these crazy kind of sounding measures, because if it wasn't so crazy, let's be real, it wouldn't be spreading around the world and be so difficult to contain, right? So you have to kind of start to mentally get used to the fact that, you know, just feel like you're going to school to become like a, you know, trained in hazmat policy, you know, pretend that you're learning to work in a chemical lab. Like, I think that mentally we need to find ways to cope with this new normal. What else do you need? So that's your personal protection, and you've got your spray to sanitize yourself, and then maybe I'll make another video later, because I'm still learning about how you actually properly disrobe and in what order to keep yourself safe. Okay, so that can be another video. But for now, just make sure that you have the stuff, because you can always learn how to use it later. We've got a little bit of time for you to learn that. Okay, third thing you're gonna need. So you've got your cleaners, your personal protective equipment. Third thing you need is food. Okay, so hopefully you already have extra food in your house. If you don't, now's the time to stock up. White rice will last a really long time. Dried beans will last a really long time. Canned vegetables, canned fruit, raisins, chocolate. Try and get what you like to eat. Do you like to eat Mr. Noodles? Then buy a big bunch of Mr. Noodles. Do you like to eat nuts? Then buy a huge bag of nuts. Just try and make what you're buying really calorie dense. So like, you know, buy oatmeal in big bags, or rice, like I said, or quinoa. Like, you want high quality food in bulk. Don't just buy these like little tiny things. Just get as much as you possibly can, because a pandemic can cause a breakdown in supply chains. Okay, whether it's because the guy who's supposed to drive the truck that has the food in it to you is sick, or whether it's because your city is suddenly on lockdown, so they're not letting anyone in, or whether it's because the farmer that makes the food got sick, or it's because the person that's supposed to bring the product doesn't want to leave their house. You know, there's a variety of reasons, but supply chains can possibly be disrupted. So I would suggest personally having 2 months of food in your house as extra backup. Also, because when you, anytime your judgment tells you to, you should have the choice and ability to decide that you want to stay inside your house and not risk yourself. I don't know what your job is. I don't know if you feel like that's a possibility. I would hope that you can talk with your employer, that you can talk about working online, that you can talk about working from home, that you can talk about how to stay safe and make those plans so that you don't have to just go out and feel like you're risking yourself every day, so that you can, you know, stay in your house when it's prudent. So you want to have food for when that happens. So you also want to have water. Now, I don't think there's going to be water disruptions, but you never know, because maybe if someone in charge of the water gets sick, then maybe there would be a water disruption. And it's just always wise to have a source of water in your house. So I have Berkey which is like a machine that you put water in the top and then it purifies it on the way down. So if I really had to, I could walk down to the river and bring a bucket of water back and pour it in. And then I also have, I don't know, maybe 6, 24 bottle flats of water. So, have water in your house for 3 days. I think that's wise. You don't need water for 2 months, but have water for 3 days. Have enough water that you have time to figure out how to get more water if you run out of water. You can even get like purifying tablets. Also, bleach purifies water. So if you have bleach, then you're on your way to clean water. I'm still learning with all of this, but that's what I've heard. What else do I have? Okay, so once you've got all that, have some fun stuff. If you are planning on staying in your home, which is smart. I mean, I'm teaching English to kids in China, and all of them are inside their house. Okay, so you need to realistically understand that in the future, your kids won't be going to school, they'll be at home, and they could be learning online, or you could have to, find them lessons online. I'm not sure how our government is going to deal with that, but I know that in China, they are only at home and they're not going out. You only go out when you absolutely have to there. So have fun things to do. So for example, I bought a dartboard. I bought an adult dartboard, like a good one, and a little kid dartboard so that my kids can feel like they're having fun and not be trying to ruin our larger one. I bought a ping pong set so that you can transform your dining room table into a ping pong table. I'm not bringing these out until we've been in quarantine for a while and we're starting to go stir crazy. Then I'll bring that out and it'll be like, wow. Also, this is the time of season where big toys are on sale because it's from the last Christmas season. So I just picked up a few things that I'm going to be giving my kids for next Christmas because it was on deep discount. And yeah, if things are horrible and the kids are going nuts inside, then I'll pull one of those out for something to do. Also keep in mind that when I talk about quarantining myself, the reason that we are going to quarantine ourselves is because I work from home teaching English online. I'm actually getting paid right now. A student is supposed to be here, but they're not, thank God, so I can do this video. And so I teach from home and we homeschool. So there's no reason for us to risk ourselves. We can, get by inside just fine. And I've got enough food for a while, so we don't have to risk ourselves. We do have to figure out how to get the mail. I'm thinking of wearing a mask underneath a scarf and rubber gloves underneath or nitrile gloves underneath mittens so that I don't look like I'm paranoid, but I am. Yeah, and then I have to figure out how to sanitize the mail. So, my spray and anyway, I'll go into this later. But yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and of course, toiletries. Toilet paper, get lots of toilet paper. If you have a pet, then prep for your pet. Get enough food for your pet. Medications, prescriptions. If you've got a prescription for something, get it refilled. As many refills in the distant future as you can right now so that you have it. Right now, China manufactures 80% of North America's drugs, and a lot of the manufacturing happens in Wuhan. So the first drug, just yesterday or the day before, there's one drug, and they wouldn't say what it was, but there's one drug that has, there's none left because the manufacturers aren't pumping it out right now. So be aware that drugs could start to be in short supply soon. On that note, make sure that you have fever medication, because if someone in your family gets sick, then you need the fever medication. So that means having acetaminophen, maybe ibuprofen, not aspirin. You want to have, what's it called? Guafenine? I can't say it. It's an expectorant. So look on the cough syrups and the cold and the flu medicine and look for one that says expectorant, because this virus fills your lungs with fluid, so you want to be coughing that out. I've also heard that selenium is good. You might not have watched the videos from China, but there's actually people that can suddenly drop dead of this virus on the street, and that's apparently from a cytokine storm, which is like an over response of your immune system. And I've heard that from scholars that selenium can help mitigate this. You should also be buying multivitamins. So multivitamins for your kids, multivitamins for adults, so that if you are stuck inside for a while, maybe you don't have access to fresh food for a while, then you still have your vitamins to keep your body healthy. I bought some seeds, you want to get ready so that maybe in your backyard, if you can plant something, then that's the safest food that you can have. Garbage bags. Garbage bags can be used for a number of different things. Duct tape. These are basic like survival things. Okay, and if someone in your house is sick, you want to have a room in your house that you're going to have them in, and that room will be away from the other rooms, and you can put like plastic sheeting up, or maybe a tarp, something that will separate that room in addition to the door. Thinking right now about what would you do if someone in your family was sick, where would you put them, and how would you protect yourself? These are all good things to do. And if you have a HEPA air filter purifier with a UV light, that's a good thing. I already have those because of the forest fires in BC. So we already had that, so that will help. And then you want to have the patient in a room with a window that you can open the window and have the air flow through the room. You don't want to just have the room like feeding air into the other rooms. You want to like tape off any air vents in the room that the sick patient is in. Just put like duct tape over it and make sure that you open the window, and that will help the virus to go away. I know it sounds kind of weird, but there was a study, I think it was SARS, there was like or MERS, there was a hospital that had these patients, and highly infectious patients, and the infection was spreading, and the hospital, staff were getting infected, and it wasn't going well. And then they transferred the patients to a lower income hospital that didn't have air conditioning. It didn't have the kind of airflow between the rooms. They just had the windows open, and suddenly the infection was like solved. Like it went way down, and staff members were not getting as sick as often. So yeah, opening the window is important. And then just keep in mind that the 1918 pandemic lasted for 3 years. I suggest reading about the 1918 pandemic because it will give you a good idea of what's happening now. In the 1918 pandemic, the officials said, "Don't worry, we'll take care of you. Everything is fine." They're lying. They can't take care of you. It's a pandemic. It's, every little area has to kind of be for themselves, because in a pandemic, they can't help you. It's a pandemic, okay? What's going to happen is that so many people are going to need to go to the hospital that the hospital won't be able to handle them all. So that's why you need to be able to handle your own sick people in your own home, if at all possible. And that's also why you need to start to think about, can I just close my doors? Can I just stay inside? Can I just let this pass by outside my house and do my best to keep my family safe for as long as possible? Because what happens is, you kind of wait for something bad to happen in your area, and then people will start to get infected silently, and you won't know it because you can't see it spreading. And the only time that you actually get to see it is when the very severe cases, the ones that might die, go to the hospital, and then a smart emergency doctor says, "Oh crap, the coronavirus is here." Okay, and then at this point, that's when they'll tell you, "Hey, we've got a case or two." We have to realize that when that happens, there's already all these other people that are infected already, and they're spreading in the community. So when you see anybody in the hospital, you know that there's already a lot more that are there that are infected. So all that to say, you know, if it gets to that point, like, you definitely don't want to be out and about. And for me personally, I don't even want to be out and about while it's silently spreading. Like, I can just assume that it's silently spreading because it's a pandemic. So for me personally, we've already started quite severe measures in keeping ourselves safe, because I don't want to be part of that first wave of people, you know, the guinea pigs that are like, oops, now it's here. Oh no, I got it and I'm the first person to get it. Oh crap. Because once it's here, then what they'll do is they'll start saying things like, okay, you know, maybe once it gets to a certain point, they'll say, okay, kids don't go to school anymore. No more church, no more theaters, no more malls, no more large gatherings. And then once they say that, then you still have 3 more weeks of building infection, because it's been building. And just because you say no more gathering, well, that doesn't mean that the people that already have it don't, you know, get less sick. No, they still get more and more sick. And it takes 3 weeks for this illness to peak. So after they, you know, quarantine, then you're still going to have 2 or 3 weeks of more and more and more and more people going to the hospital. So in my mind, you want to just lay low and stay out of that, like, first peak. And then, you know, when it goes down again, you know, hey, if you have to go out and get some groceries, and then if you get sick, like, as long as the hospitals can manage you, then yeah, the mortality rate is low. But if the hospitals can't manage you, then the mortality rate could be high, potentially. So you don't want to be, you know, in a crowded hospital. For instance, in Wuhan right now, they, when patients got critical in Wuhan, I have to just remember the stats, so you'll have to look it up if you want the exact stats. But the critical care patients in Wuhan used to only have like a 13% chance of recovery, and now that number has gone up to like 67 or something like that. And that's because they know better what they're doing. They're not overwhelmed anymore. They don't have a massive amount of people anymore, because Wuhan has actually put a complete quarantine down. You're not even allowed to go out to buy groceries now. So everyone is just like in their home completely. That's what they had to do to stop this. So if the government was wise, to be honest, if I was them, I would just make everyone stay inside right now. Why make all those people suffer? Like, anyway, it's all in the name of the economy, to keep things going as normal as possible for as long as possible. So hopefully you have savings, or hopefully you have a way to make money online. Yeah, because that's the other crappy part about pandemics, is because it has an economical, financial hit to it as well. And on the global scale of things, when you look at what threats different disasters pose to governments, pandemics are on equal par as terrorism attacks. And early on, the WHO actually said that a pandemic can be worse than a terrorist attack, which makes sense, right? Because this pandemic is going to go on possibly for years. It's impacting everyone all around the world. Like, it's, anyway, irregardless of whether it's, you know, an actual bioweapon, or whether it's just the flu, because the 1918 was just the flu. Either way, you know, it's going to suck for a while, but be smart and prepare, and you're going to do better than 98% of other people. Okay, thanks.